Hi, fans of high-quality entertainment. Today's tier list is 1976, and I think I'm almost done the 70s. There might be one more year to cover, possibly. And so 1976 was not too bad of a year. There's more albums than some of the other, like one of the other ones was pretty bad. Forget if it was 76 or what, but this one has 47 albums that I'm pretty familiar with. And as always, as I always say in all of these videos, there's going to be some great albums missing because I either don't know them that well or I've maybe never even heard them. But these are ones that I know pretty well. So here we go. No particular order. I'm going to start ranking them. So S is superior, and then A, B, C, and D. Grand Funk Railroad, Good Singin', Good Playin', produced by Frank Zappa. And Zappa even has a guitar solo on one of the tracks. On Grant's Rock Warehouse, he was doing a series reviewing all of the albums. And so I listened to it for the first time in quite a while. And it was better than previous listens. But still, I'm just going to put that in B tier. I just prefer earlier Grand Funk. Klaatu, 3:47 Eastern Standard Time. I'm sorry, Glenn Kellaway from the Basement. It's S tier. It's a great debut album. I also love the follow-up, Hope. Electric Light Orchestra, New World Record. My favorite is El Dorado, but that's still a very good album. I'll put that in A tier. The Eagles, Hotel California. Yes, I own that on vinyl back in the day, but I'm not a fan of the Eagles. I just, they're very talented songwriters, of course, and great musicians, but the music just kind of, for the most part, bores me. So just for me personally, I'm still going to put it in B because it's still, good music. I'm just not a big fan. All right, ZZ Top, Tejas, I believe is how you pronounce it. I really like that album. It's probably one of my favorite ZZ Top albums. I'm going to put that in A tier, ahead of Electric Light Orchestra. Okay, the sensational Alex Harvey Band, the Penthouse Tapes. I prefer their earlier albums. I'll put that in B tier, ahead of the Eagles. Genesis, A Trick of the Tail. I've always loved Genesis, but I think I have a new appreciation for them after watching that 2-hour recent Phil Collins documentary with his son interviewing him about his drumming. And so I listened to A Trick of the Tail last night, and I saw them on that tour. I think it was about the 5th show with Phil Collins singing, and it was an amazing concert. That's going to be, I'll put that in A tier at the very beginning. Boz Scaggs, Silk Degrees. I bought that when it came out. I always enjoyed it. I don't own it anymore, but still a very good record. I'll put that at the start of B. Lots of great songs on that. Led Zeppelin, the song remains the same. Now I'm ranking this by the original. I know there's a later edition with, added live tracks, which really improves on it. But still, excellent live album. Kind of a bit bloated sometimes, with Dazed and Confused going on for like 28 minutes, but still, it's Led Zeppelin. I'm going to give that an A, just before Genesis. Yeah, Genesis Wind and Wuthering. I need to. I've listened to it, a few times. I just haven't really connected with it. So I'm going to put that in B, just before Boz Scaggs. Black Sabbath, Technical Ecstasy, I feel, is a underrated Black Sabbath album. I'm going to put it in A tier, but at the end. Frampton Comes Alive, once again. I bought that when it came, the year it was released. I enjoyed it, not a huge fan, but Peter Frampton is, of course, a great guitarist, and I loved him in Humble Pie. Just for me personally, I'll put that in B. Right there. So far, just Klaatu and S tier. Patti Smith Group, Radio Ethiopia. I like it. There's a couple of songs I'm not crazy about, but overall, I think I'll put it at the very at the very start of B. Sparks Big Beat. Guess what? There are some albums that that aren't an S tier or A tier, but for me, Big Beat, I loved it right away. It's S tier. It's at the start of S tier. The Tubes, Young and Rich, a bit of a disappointing follow-up to their debut, but still a good record. I'll put that in B. Right there. Uriah Heep, High and Mighty. Yeah, I think that's the last album by Uriah Heep I bought. I know they've released some pretty solid albums since, but I just kind of gave up on them. Blue Oyster Cult, Agents of Fortune. Pretty darn good album. Not my favorite, but still pretty darn good. I'm going to put that at the start of A tier because I'm a huge Blue Oyster Cult fan. Ted Nugent, everybody's favorite. Free for All. Yeah, I bought Ted Nugent albums in the 70s. That and Cat Scratch Fever and the self-titled were my favorites. I'll put that in B tier, at the end of B tier. The Modern Lovers with Jonathan Richman. I'll put that in B tier. It's got Roadrunner and some other. She Cracked was another song I love, but I'll put it right there. And that is the sensational Alex Harvey Band again. Is that The Mafia Stole My Guitar, I believe? Anyway, I'll put that in B tier. I don't listen to the later albums that much, so I'll put it at the end of B. Led Zeppelin Presence. I'm going to put that, it's not S tier for me, but it is A tier. I'll put it, I think I would rather listen to The Song Remains the Same, the live album, than Presence, but I'll put it right there. Jethro Tull, Too Old to Rock and Roll, Too Young to Die. Wasn't a fan of that album. I'll put it at the beginning of C tier. Ramones is S tier. I'll put it right there. Styx, Crystal Ball. I bought 2 or 3 Styx albums in the 70s. They were okay. I'll put it in near the end of B tier. Right there. Ringo. Yeah, I'll put it in C tier. It's not very good, but it's not like terrible. Al Stewart, Year of the Cat. I haven't heard that in years, but I remember buying it and, liking it quite a bit. I'll put that right about there. Nazareth, Close Enough for Rock and Roll. Underrated band. They always put out, for quite a few years, they were putting out pretty consistent albums. But, in the B tier mainly. Just ahead of the Tubes. Rush, 2112. I know lots of you would put that in S tier. I love the sidelong title track. Side 2, I never really got much out of. I'm going to put that in B tier. I'm sorry. Just ahead of Peter Frampton. Flo and Eddie, Moving Targets from the Turtles. A very underrated album. I'm putting that in A tier, but at the end of A tier. Max Webster, a great Canadian band, their first album. They used to open up for Rush many times, and Rush even recorded a song on one of the later Max Webster albums. I'll put that in A tier. Right there. Boston, I know a lot of you would put that in S tier. I really enjoyed the album when it came out, but, these days it wouldn't really interest me to listen to it. But, some classics on it, of course. More Than a Feeling is one of the great 70s songs. So I'll still put it in A tier, but at the end of A tier. AC/DC, Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap. I think that's the Australian cover. I'll put that in B tier. Right there, yeah. Kiss, Destroyer. Yeah. I bought that in the 70s. I'll put that in C tier. Just not really a fan. John Anderson, his first solo album, Elias of Sunhillow. That's almost S tier, but I'm going to put it in A, ahead of Genesis. Actually, at the start of A. Lou Reed, Rock and Roll Heart. Another underrated album. The production isn't that great, but I love most of the songs. I won't put it in A, though. I'm going to put it in B, at the start of B. Yeah. Stevie Wonder, Songs in the Key of Life, the only Stevie Wonder album I ever bought. I know lots of people would put it in S tier. Just for me personally, I'll put it in A. And like I said, I always say, I'm not saying one is better than the other. I'm just talking about my favorites, to listen to. So I'd rather listen to Led Zeppelin than Stevie Wonder. Right there. 10cc, How Dare You, my favorite 10cc album. I think it's S tier. Bebop Deluxe, Sunburst Finish. Really good album. I will put that in A, right there. David Bowie, Station to Station, S tier. Yep. Deaf School, Second Honeymoon. Great underrated band. My favorite, though, is their third album. So I'm going to put that in B. right there. Bob Seger, Night Moves. Another one I bought way, way back in the 70s. Good songs. Right there. Yeah, Steve Miller Band, Fly Like an Eagle. Just kind of, just not my kind of thing, man. Just commercial, and I just find it kind of boring to listen to. But, he had some great hits, of course. But still, just for me personally, I'm going to put it in C tier. But I'll put it at the start of C tier. Another underrated band, Golden Earring, To the Hilt, is A tier. Right there. Wings at the Speed of Sound. Not their best, but still, I'll put that in B tier, at the start of B tier. I love Let 'Em In, the opening track, and, silly love songs, and Beware My Love. Kiss, Rock and Roll Over. I'll put it in D tier. Rush, All the World's a Stage. I bought that when it came out. Recorded at Massey Hall in Toronto. I would just rather listen to their studio album, so I'm going to put it in B tier. Right there. Wings, Over America, their live album. That is S tier. But I usually prefer studio albums to live albums, so it's at the end of the S tier. And that is it. Let me know what you think and what albums that I probably haven't heard or I'm not that familiar with that could be in this ranking, and let me know what you think of my ranking. And remember, it's just my opinion. Your opinion might be different, and that's okay. And I also made a list for 1960. Was it 1966, I believe? There's not many albums. So that's going to be a short video coming up. So that's it. Please remember to like the video, leave a comment below, and subscribe. Bye.